Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. It is February the 5th. I am rolling into work. It is foggy and rainy and cold. And a lot of traffic. Actually, oh my gosh. Parking. Sensors went off. Yeah, it's rolling into work. Yeah, cold. But we'll see. We'll see what we can get into today. Have somebody coming in for a service appointment that would like to look at a new car. So set that up yesterday. Other than that, I do have another client who wants to come drive the new 2025 Continental GT Speed. The new Bentley Coupe, which that car is insane, by the way. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but new platform, new chassis, new powertrain, excuse me. V8 hybrid. It's over 750 horsepower, all-wheel drive. Car handles insane for the weight and the size, and super comfortable. What else did they do? They did a nice 3D, like if you guys have checked it out, they do a like 3D diamond on the door panel, which looks insane. The clear tail lamps now. Anyway, they did a great job on that car, and the drive is insane. So anyway, I have someone who wanted to come test drive that today. I don't know if that's still going to go down since the weather's really bad, but we will see. But I wanted to talk about, just so I have it condensed, like how I ended up selling exotic cars. So a little bit like about my background, right out of like starting, and I think end of sophomore year or beginning of junior year, my first job was working in a surf shop. So I worked in a surf shop and I loved it. I was super into surfing, and it worked out great, and I was there for 5 years and was just a store employee. I don't know, a sales employee. My gosh, people in traffic today. I don't know why when it rains, it's just people lose their minds. Yeah, I started off in sales and then was assistant manager. Worked my way up to assistant manager or supervisor. And then from there, I did ballet in Santa Barbara. It was just time to move from the surf shop, and wasn't exactly the right vehicle for me to get to where I wanted to go. But it was a great first job, and it was a good time. So yeah, a couple of my buddies did valet in Santa Barbara. Like, oh, you take home cash every day, you drive really cool cars, like it's by the beach. I'm like, yes, that sounds like it's right up my alley. So then I started doing that. I was working special events. I said it on previous video that did like Kevin Hart's wedding, one of his weddings. And then I got put on an account, which was a hotel in Santa Barbara, right on the beach. Super nice. Got to drive cool cars. I have a cool story about that too. I'll tell you guys on another video, but yeah. So I got put on an account. Then I was made assistant manager, and then I got promoted to account manager. So that was I think I did that for 3 years, and then I always just loved cars. I've always loved cars. My dad loved cars. He was always into like air-cooled Porsches and Volkswagens, and but I was always into the newer stuff. Like I'm not really good with old cars, like telling you which model is what, but any modern car I can tell you pretty much everything about it. So anyway, I always wanted to work with cars. I didn't know. I knew I didn't really want to be on the service side. Like, I've never really been a mechanic type. So if I took something apart and I put it back together, it's probably going to be 2 to 4 bolts left over, you know, that just leaves me questioning, like, I hope these weren't important bolts. So I knew I probably wasn't going to go down that route. But I was friends with the Rusnacks, who they own a few dealerships here in Southern California, and ended up getting an entry-level job on the sales side, which is a technologist. So the person who goes over all the features of the car. After you just come out of finance, you just purchase a car, I go over the features, hook up your phone, the app, and teach you anything you want to know about the vehicle. So I started off doing that. I did that for 6 months or so, and then I got promoted to salesperson, which was good. It was good. I told them I kind of wanted to get into the sales side because obviously being a salesperson, you make more money. Although being a car salesman like always has a negative connotation. Like from when I was like looking for my first car, and I remember driving onto a lot in Scottsdale, and you know, you drive in and there's like 12 guys sitting there like, oh, park here, park here, park here, and just like super in your face, like, what are you here to look at? Okay? It's just like my demeanor is much more mellow, so I don't know. I always had a negative connotation with car salespeople, and I just feel like they're just like slimy liars. Like that's what they're known for. I don't know. That's how I feel like that's changed a bit now. It's much more transparency in the business, which is great. So anyway, yeah, I got promoted to salesperson. I learned a lot. I was green as grass in the beginning, like just saying stuff like shoot myself in the foot, and I mean, I really believe like everybody was a buyer, which is not a bad mindset. I think it's a good mindset to have, but I was just convinced everyone was buying. Everybody was telling me the truth. Excuse me. So I worked there for 3.5 years, and then we had a Western regional manager from Audi, so it's a combination of him and then this store here that I am at, O'Gara. They got a new GM who came from Las Vegas, and he ended up finding me on Instagram. I'm not sure if he found me organically or he found me because of the Western Regional Manager told him my name and then he found me. I don't know. But nonetheless, DM me on Instagram, and he introduced himself and asked if I wanted to go for a cup of coffee. Which, like, at first he didn't tell. I don't think he told me he was from the dealership, so I just like blew it off because I just thought it was weird. Like, I don't know who this dude is who asked me to go get a cup of coffee. But then he reached out again and was like, hey, I'm the new GM here at O'Gara. You know, I think maybe he had mentioned Scott Reynolds at that time, the Western Regional Manager. And so anyway, that's kind of how it happened. And I ended up meeting for coffee a few times to discuss the details and make sure it's a good fit. Obviously the brands are insane, and they're like all my dream cars, so that was obviously a green light. But I just didn't know. I didn't know how many cars they were selling. Like, obviously they're expensive cars. I don't know, what does that look like? Are they selling 2 a month, or are they selling 30 a month? I don't know. So got more details on that and decided to make the switch, and super happy I did. I'm very fortunate to have found myself in this position. I think, I mean, doing what I do, this is kind of the pinnacle on the sales side. You know, if you're gonna sell the brands, and these are the brands to sell, in my opinion. So I'm very fortunate to have found this position. It's I mean, anybody who's interested in it, it's not, I feel like selling these cars is much more like real estate, because you don't come into like in a typical dealership like at Audi from where I came from. I would come into the dealership and maybe I have 4 leads sitting there, or I have 3 leads sitting there that I immediately start working. And then throughout the day, maybe I have 3 ups, maybe I have 5 ups. Here, I mean, I'll come in and I won't have any leads, you know? So then what do? You don't just go into work and sit there and do nothing. So similar to real estate. So what do? Like I personally already had an Instagram, so what I did, Reels were really popular. They still are, but so I used Reels to make some good connections and also reach out to a lot of people, did a lot of outreach on Instagram to potential clients that I obviously see they already have cars, and then to brokers as well. I did a lot of outreach to brokers because I was just thinking, like, how can I get a hold of more people, because obviously I'm not getting a ton of leads here. It was kind of scary at first, but having access to brokers who have access to these type of clients was very beneficial. And it's like having someone work for you to go find the client, or they already have the client, and then you get the sale. So that helped a lot. What else can I say about it? Each brand's different, you know. Like with Lamborghini, a lot of the models are sold out till, I mean, right now, like till 2027. You know, if they're going to order a car. So if you're just starting in the business and they don't really have any cars on the ground, and essentially, like, that's pretty much what it was when I started. Like, there wasn't really any cars. It was like the height of the COVID market, or around the height, and there wasn't really any cars on the ground. And if I ordered a car for somebody, it was going to get here in 2 years. So how am I gonna? I don't need money in 2 years. I need money right now. so that was kind of Lamborghini. Bentley, we did have cars on the ground, so that helps a lot. And we were ordering a lot of cars at the time. And Bentley was easier. They were like, 7 months. And then of course we have our used inventory. So used inventory is very helpful, especially speaking back then, and even now, used inventory is great. So trade-ins, and then we'll do just straight acquisitions. I'll buy cars from people to sell here. So those help out a lot. And it even like mixes some things that are like some vehicles that are $100,000 or $150,000. Like that's a lower selling price for us. So it's a bigger pool of people that I'm dealing with. When I'm only selling $250,000 cars to, like 250 to 750, it's a smaller pool of people. There's only so many people who are stroking a check, or who are buying a $750,000 car, or who are leasing a $750,000 car with a $12,000 a month payment. So yeah, Lamborghini, Bentley, and then Rolls Royce. It's a lot of orders. A lot of Rolls Royce clients like to do their own build, their own custom build, and that at the time was taking about a year. So now things have changed a bit. We do have some cars on the ground, not so much a Lamborghini, but we do have Bentleys on the ground, and a couple of Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce is in a interesting situation because new Cullinan just came out, and then now we're waiting for the new Ghost, and so dealers just have the remaining 2024s. So there's really not that many cars out there now. Yep, that kind of sums it up. That's how I got into the business. Obviously, in future videos, I'll be giving more insights into certain niches in the business. Or whatever you guys comment. If you guys might have certain questions or are curious, let me know. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon.